head now to the Ashanti region. The Jimira Forest Reserve, spanning over 63 square kilometers of protected land in the Ashanti region, has been laid bare by illegal mining activities. A massive police swoop has revealed an environmental catastrophe far worse than feared. 4 individuals have been arrested with several earth-moving machines impounded as the widespread illegal mining rips apart large sections of protected forest. My colleague Nana Boachi Adam was on the ground and filed this report.
Until now, and that's how we are going to do. This is what we can do for our country, for Mother Ghana. How is clear? Yes, sir.
On Friday dawn, a combined team of police and forestry anti-Galamsey task force launched a coordinated anti-illegal mining operation that began from the Cobbin block of the Jimira Forest Reserve. The team moved systematically through the dense forest, advancing to the Nkontine block before rounding up the operations at the Amanchia block, areas notorious for illegal mining.
In wake of the devastation and all the attempts to curb illegal mining, these miners who have invaded this forest reserve have brought a new pumping machine. And you can see this one is a very brand new machine over here. And the destruction continues, destroying the lands and destroying all of our reserves.
At the Cobbin block, newly acquired water pumping machines and tank fans were set ablaze to prevent the operators from regrouping. Supported by drone surveillance, the operations exposed vast stretches of land scarred by illegal gold mining pits. My farm is just here. If you see how they have destroyed it, you'll be surprised. Aerial footage captured during a swoop shows an alarming sight. Officials say the drone images confirm that more than half of the affected blocks have been devastated, with huge open pits posing danger to wildlife and nearby communities. In the operation, the police impounded 5 heavy-duty excavators and arrested 4 suspected illegal miners, with 2 claiming to be national security operatives.
Police for why not catch us the police for Bira? DC Afenyo Accra. DC near where? DC Kumkom Boama. DC on the frame say Mumra Hanum Sena. Yes, sir. A man for Baha or Frey Operation Commander was when Nimoshi and a Frey Captain Jabali was when Nimoshi. No, DC member your Operation Commander ho. Na yanko say Omofire, but Omenimoshi. And I member Operation Commander say I feel on Oba office. And see me Kutomos Menko say Omofire. Inti me ba barrier ha no na police for no na o me so me fit say
inti ka o ba be stop police for na
no e ba e boa na ye na.
The excavators were towed out of the forest.
More than 5 earth-moving machines, including this one. This excavator has been seized here at the Jimira Forest Reserve, and this is going to be moved to the nearby police station for protection. This is not just the only excavator that is being moved. A lot more will be moved from here to the nearest police station to make sure that security would have their eyes on it as they protect it.
According to forestry officials, the Jimira Forest Reserve is now at risk of losing its ecological value if urgent restoration efforts are not undertaken. Meanwhile, residents say the damage has already begun to affect them. Rivers once used for drinking and farming are now unsafe. They have destroyed the water we drink. They are destroying our water bodies. All of them. Our water bodies have been destroyed.
Forest there, don't know if we are quite a Dutch if we no one and she did also.
What should we do?
They say, my dear, excavate here, but she and better than she are no anymore. Yes, a full crowd by a nigga, no more to a good.
The Forestry Commission says it will conduct a full environmental assessment using drone data and other group evidence to guide a planned reclamation exercise for the reserve. But as the sun sets over the Jimira Forest Reserve, scars left behind by greed and neglect stand as a stark reminder that Ghana's fight against illegal mining is far from over. For JoyNews, Nana Bwachidankwe-Yadom, Kumasi.
Well, Nana Bwachi-Yadom joins me live with more on this. Nana, worrying visuals we are seeing. I've just been hearing from the lady you engaged. The concern she's raising, her farm has been taken over by illegal miners. How is the police addressing this?
Well, firstly, what you saw from the visuals we shared, that's not the only victim of the illegal mining activities that these miners have been engaging in at the Jimira Forest Reserve. A lot more residents have been affected by the illegal mining activities in the forest. The police soup is to make sure that they drive out all these individuals who are engaging in illegal mining activities to make sure that farmers in the community are able to go by their daily activities, which is mainly farming in the area. And so the soup continues, and then efforts are being made to make sure that the farmers who have been affected by this massive destruction of the Jimira Forest Reserve are being moved out. As it continues, a lot of them come out with complaints about how the miners invade their farms. Some of them with cocoa farms, some of them with plantain farms are all being affected. And the police are doing so much well to make sure that in the next few months and in a day's come, they are able to make sure these farmers are not severely affected by the activities of these illegal miners.
And this is quite sad. You engaged one of the individuals who were arrested, and that is on your screens right now, who claims to be a national security operative. What's the update on that?
Well, the individual has been arrested. He was arrested that very day that he came to the site to have some form of confrontation with the police. He was sent to the Ashanti Regional Police Command for further investigations to be carried on his personality and whether or not he's indeed a member of the national security. Some few questions were being asked about when he was employed or even picked up to join the national security. His credentials were not clear. He was unable to prove that he was indeed a member of the national security, which then raised concerns, leading to the police to sending him to the regional headquarters of the Ghana police. So as I speak to you, he's there. The police are carrying out their investigations to make sure that they determine whether he's indeed a member of the national security and whether he's not an illegal miner or otherwise.
But what stood out for you, really? You were on the grounds.
Firstly, it was massive destruction of the over 63 square kilometer forest reserve. We have laws that prevent us from mining in the forest reserve. But in entering the Jimira Forest for the very first time, I felt very sad looking at the scenes. And what surprised me is that despite all attempts to curb illegal mining and efforts being put in place by previous government and the current government, these illegal miners are bringing in new excavators. There were over 50 new pumping machines that were brought into the various mining sites and in fact into the forest reserve itself, which made me very, very worried. Looking at the fact that we are still putting in measures, we are still making calls and even calling on these individuals to drop their guards. But as the time goes on, as the sun sets in, they continue to bring in machines, earth-moving machines. There were over 5 excavators, brand new excavators, that were seized by the police. But then
brand new excavators?
Brand new excavators. All the excavators that were seized by the police were brand new excavators that were brought into the Jimira Forest Reserve. But then, firstly, we continue to talk about the negative side of illegal mining activities in the forest reserves and even on our water bodies.
And did you engage any local authority? We heard from the individual you engaged with, the one who claims to be a national security operative, that he received a call from the DC. Did you speak to any local authority?
Well, in the wake of the soup, we tried reaching the DC, we tried reaching even the Regional Coordinating Council, but all efforts did not yield any form of results. The police have taken up the matter. We are having our eyes on that to make sure that especially the individuals arrested and then the excavators that were seized and sent to the regional headquarters or even the regional police depot are kept there without any form of twist. You know, sometimes when these machines are being impounded, there are some ways that they find themselves out of police custody. But then we still have our eyes on that to make sure that they are not set out and given back to these illegal miners. Police have assured us of massive protection of these equipment, and then local authorities, even from the National Security Coordinator, in fact, the Ashanti Regional Post, they've assured us that they are going to cooperate with the police to make sure that this soup would yield results at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Nana Boakye Yadu, for bringing us that update. Let me just explore this further and bring in Awula Sewa. She is a member of Eco-Conscious Citizens. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. It appears that activism is not yielding as much result as we would want it to. We're hearing of new excavators on the site. Your initial reactions?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. The situation is dire. I mean, we keep on having this conversation, and there doesn't seem to be much progress. We seem to be going around in circles. It is for this reason that we have asked over and over again for a state of emergency, a targeted state of emergency, so that we can go to our hotspots and deal with the matter. And when I hear about the excavators, we hear about so many coming into the country. We are aware that they come into the country and go straight to our forest reserves. So why don't we ban or pause the importation of excavators?
Well, the president has actually ordered that. Currently, they have halted the importation of all excavators. In fact, for you to actually be able to import an excavator, I'm told you need a license. And so that has been done. But how effective is that really? Because we're already seeing new excavators on the ground based on our reports that are coming in. And it's happening right underneath our nose.
The excavators have not been stopped. You need a license to bring them in. What we are saying is that we know what happens in this country and how all these things can be undermined. So we are saying that pause it. It's not a question of you can get a license to bring it in. There are sufficient excavators in the country if they are going to be used for construction. The reality is that we know that they are finding their way to the forest reserve. So it's not a question of saying you can bring them in so long as you have a license. Just pause it completely. No new excavator should be brought into the country. Those that are there can be rented out to those who need them for genuine business. Now, we've also asked for a state of emergency. That is not happening. We'll keep going around in circles. We'll have yourselves, journalists like Erastus Asare-Donko, putting their lives on the line, and yet we don't want to take the steps that need to be taken to solve this problem. Not too long ago, we're told that this forest reserve had been reclaimed. That is obviously not the case. The environmental terrorists are still there. So we're going to keep on going around in circles until we take the steps that need to be taken. We have very well-trained armed forces. We can declare a state of emergency, give them clear terms of reference, and let them remove the environmental terrorists from our forest reserves and water bodies. After that has been done, make sure that we have, army personnel posted close to the forest reserve so that when we see any sign of a breach, action is taken. If we're not prepared to do that, we're going to go on like this until all our forest reserves disappear. I don't know what else I can say about this matter.
And that is from the standpoint of frustration as you keep pushing government to repeal that controversial LI.
Yes, you see, when we look at the run-up to the elections, we asked for a targeted state of emergency. We asked for the repeal of LI 2462. We asked for a pause in small-scale mining. We asked for all those named in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report to be investigated, prosecuted, and if found guilty, in addition to the sentence, for their assets to be sold using the polluter pays principle and be used towards the cost of reclamation. Now, the state of emergency, the promises were made and run up to the elections. The administration has won with an overwhelming majority. But sadly, it seems to be business as usual. No state of emergency being declared, excuses upon excuses. LI 2462, which the president told us he was going to have repealed, has not been repealed. It has only been amended. So we are asking ourselves that do we really want to get to the root of this problem? And sometimes we talk about the livelihood of illegal miners. Do we realize that over 2.5 million peasant farmers, fishermen, are at the risk of losing their livelihood as a consequence of illegal mining? Do we realize that we face an existential threat? We are being poisoned, and yet we don't seem to have the boldness to take the necessary steps to bring this matter under control. We want to wait till all Ghanaians are poisoned. I don't know how we're going to have a 24-hour economy when the workforce is poisoned, when we are suffering from cancers or kidney disease, when children keep on being born deformed, when our food chain has been poisoned. I just don't know what else to say. I'm just appealing to His Excellency the President to declare a state of emergency. We don't want the work you're doing, the work of the likes of Erastus, to be just in vain. They are putting their lives at risk, telling us what is going on and what exactly is the response. Not bold enough to deal with the problem at its roots.
Today, the President inaugurated the Gold Board Task Force, and one of the key mandates of that task force is to ensure that the gold trading sector is regulated and only local participation is encouraged. But then from where you sit, is that enough to deal with the canker?
How will it be enough? First of all, even the gold, are we tracing the gold? Do we know where the gold is coming from? What stops the environmental terrorists from taking the gold to some small-scale miners who in turn take it to the gold board? I don't have any evidence that we are capable of tracing the source of the gold. I mean, we will be satisfied when a targeted state of emergency has been declared and we can see progress being made. We can see the armed forces, whether you're talking about the military, you're talking about the Air Force, the Navy, dealing with our waters that have been diverted. The Ankombra River has been diverted. What is being done about it? We don't need the blue water gas to tell us that it's being diverted. We know that no action is being taken. So I would say that unless we're prepared to go to the heart of the matter, all these things, I'm not quite sure what they are achieving. From where I'm sitting, I know that we are facing an existential threat. I know we're on the verge of an ecological disaster. I know that some parts of the country will soon become no-go areas if we don't act. And I see us just going around in circles. You know, there are cases where excavators are seized and then they grow wings and they disappear. When excavators are seized and they are handed over to the police, whoever is handed over to should have questions to answer if the excavators disappear. You know, unless we're prepared to be, I'm even lost for words, unless we're prepared to actually be committed to dealing with this matter, I think all we are doing is going around in circles. It's very disappointing. And let me digress. I've received news today, the Parks and Gardens. We know a petrol station was being built on Parks and Gardens land in Wa. I've been told that not only has the petrol station been completed, but it's been open for business since 22nd June. This is very, very disappointing. Have we had a reset or business as usual?
Legitimate questions to have and asked us here on the polls. Thank you so much, Awola Sewa. She is co-coordinator for Eco-Conscious Citizens. We appreciate your time here on the polls. Well, away from that to other stories now, the Ayawaso West Municipal Assembly has issued a 2-month ultimatum to private developers and contractors putting up structures without the required permits to regularize their documentation or risk demolition. The directive comes after a special task force from the Ayawaso West Municipal Assembly stormed the Quarry Limited in Chiashi, halting ongoing construction works and arresting some individuals found flouting the law. Municipal Chief Executive Dr. Michael Owusu says the Assembly is committed to sanitizing the building space and ensuring orderly development. He stressed that permits are not optional and warned that enforcement will intensify in the coming weeks.
Here, because there's a building, as you can see, here going on without permit, building permit. Ayawaso West Municipal Assembly came into existence in 2018, but then they have a permit that was issued in 2020 by AMA. So clearly it tells you that they don't have a permit. Now they are building very close to the road, as you can see, very close to the road. And this is a huge structure. When it comes to parking, you can hardly tell if they can even contain the number of cars that are supposed to be parking here. So it's going to inconvenience the entire vicinity or people living around here. So that is why we are here. But then we have asked them to stop work several times, but they've refused. We came to write on the walls, they have refused. They turn our people away. Last week we were here. They are very adamant. So we are here to stop them, and we are sounding a word of caution to everybody within the municipality that if you have such fraudulent permits, come to the municipal assembly and then regularize your permits. We have several of those permits within the municipal assembly that were issued by AMA. Some were fraudulent. There are several buildings without permits, and we are asking them that they should come within 2 months to regularize their permits so that together we can work together and ensure that the right things are done. We are looking at the structural integrity. We are looking at safety issues. We are looking at environmental issues. So these issues are very important, and they need to come within 2 months, regularize their permits, or we demolish their structures.